The word enslave, by dictionary definition, means to make someone a slave or to cause someone to lose their freedom of choice or action. So keep this in mind when they tell you that you're losing your freedom, you're losing your choice of action, and that's activism. Just remember what the word enslave actually means. Unvaccinated NFL players will have a much more difficult season under new rules. Players can still choose to not get vaccinated, but they're not free from consequences. They're not free at all. Take a look. Vaccinated players will not be required to submit daily COVID-19 testing. Unvaccinated players will be tested daily. Vaccinated players will not be required to wear masks at team facilities or during travel. Unvaccinated players will have to wear masks at facilities and while traveling. Vaccinated players will not need to quarantine after being exposed to COVID-19. Unvaccinated players will need to self-quarantine following exposure. Vaccinated players, no travel restrictions or limits on movement. Unvaccinated players will remain under same travel restrictions as the 2020 season. Vaccinated players, weight room activities will be unrestricted for players who are fully vaccinated. If you're unvaccinated, will be required to limit their weight room numbers to 15 individuals. Vaccinated players may use team cafeteria with no restrictions. Unvaccinated must socially distance during meals, not allowed to eat with teammates. Vaccinated players, no limits on social media marketing or promotional opportunities. If you're unvaccinated, you will not be allowed to even have social media marketing or promotion opportunities. Vaccinated players may use team steam rooms and sauna as normal. Unvaccinated are not permitted to use the steam room or sauna. And last but not least, vaccinated players may eat with vaccinated family members and friends during travel, and unvaccinated required to stay in team hotel for meals, may not eat in restaurants, cannot interact with non-team members during travel. The decision by the NFL and the NFL Players Association comes after team attempts to motivate more players to get vaccinated failed to make an impact. So now instead of trying to motivate you, they are pretty much threatening, harassing you, and turning you into a slave prisoner and second-tier slave citizen for choosing to opt out of the COVID-19 vaccination. Literally, you're not free anymore. You are not a sovereign individual. You don't have the liberty and freedom that made America great. They're treating people like slaves. Busta Rhymes gets it. I'm sure a lot of people get it and they're afraid to say something because they don't want to lose their money or social media account. But this is not normal. I know they try to smear me and lie about anybody who actually has a brain, but I'm not an anti-vaxxer. If you want to get a vaccine, if you want to get all the vaccines, if you want the COVID, the Pfizer, the Moderna, the Johnson & Johnson, I don't care what you do with yourself. It's not up to me how you take care of yourself. For instance, a lot of America doesn't physically take care of themselves. Most of the COVID hospitalizations were obesity. Most of the deaths were in massively obese countries. That seems to be a trend. And millions upon millions die every year during the world from obesity and diseases and illnesses caused by obesity. Carrying around that much weight on your body, whether it's 50 extra pounds, 100 extra pounds, it's just not healthy for your body. That's not fat shaming. It's not being mean or rude. It's why you should be allowed to inspire people to get healthier. If this is truly about public health, that's what it should be all about. But anybody with a brain knows that it's not. Look at Pinterest recently became the first major social media platform to ban weight loss ads. They care so much about your health, they're not allowing you to promote weight loss, which will allow a healthier life. And they're closing down gyms. Oh yeah, that's really healthy for society. Close down gyms, lock down elderly people. Do you understand that elderly people, a lot of the healthy ones have a schedule, they move, they work out, they go for walks, and when they're not allowed to do that anymore, it wears down on their body. Just to show you how little these sports leagues actually care about your health, LeBron James properly predicted that a lot of players would be hurt this year because of lack of rest between the two COVID protocol seasons, and I've never seen more star basketball players get hurt than this year. So they have all these crazy protocols. They're treating players like slaves, animals, and peasants. People are getting hurt left and right, but don't worry, they're protecting you from a coronavirus. But I guess they don't care about your knee, your ACL, your ankle, or the future of your NBA career. That just shows when they micromanage and try to play big government daddy, they always do too much damage. That's why in America, we're supposed to have the sovereignty and liberty. They are, in my perspective, enslaving us and trying to distract people with Black Lives Matter type protests so all of the black activists don't realize that it's actually the liberals and Democrats who are complicit the most in taking away their freedom and liberty and turning them into second-tier serf-like citizens who can't even travel, eat with their family, use a sauna, or act like they're a human being with sovereign rights.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful.
Today, you could point to a large number of Negro leaders who have consistently betrayed Negroes in a whole host of areas.
They aren't really Negro leaders. These are puppets that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals.
These are parrots that have been put in front of the Negro community by white liberals. You can't name me a Negro leader who has been betrayed Negroes, who has not been endorsed, sanctioned, subsidized, and supported by the white liberals.
Now, regardless of the food, the medication, the vaccine, I just believe it's completely preposterous to force somebody to take something or to threaten them, hold them for ransom, kick them out of school, kick them out of their job, or treat them like a slave for not getting it. I think that's insane regardless. But here's something that they're not telling people.
I'll be independent, I like my amendments, I don't want to bend it, I don't want to sentence, I am on a vengeance, I will not regret it, I am not defenseless, all my friends protected, yeah. We let the enemy get too friendly. Now we quarantine like Julian inside the embassy. Pray, 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 pray.